Hey guys, Zoose here. Welcome to this Season 9 GALIO mid guide. Here's a cheat sheet if you want to try this out ASAP. GALIO recently got a Q buff, making his Qs hit like a truck when you build some AP. His E also got a small buff, increasing the dash speed, making it slightly harder to dodge. Because of this nice AP ratio and base damage buff on his Q, that's what this build will be focusing on, bursting and poking enemies. Now, with most AP champs, staying pretty far back is normal, but not with GALIO, so we're going in deep, whether dashing in with E or blasting in with our ult. I'll explain certain item choices later on, so stay tuned for that. Aftershock is the major rune. I'm always willing to play champs mid when it involves a unique rune and playstyle like GALIO. This rune requires getting in close to output optimal damage, but the safety from our W shield and our E knockup makes it not so risky. With all that CC, it makes sticking to the targets and dealing the aftershock damage easy. Shield Bash, another unique rune I barely ever see, works perfectly with GALIO's W. Every time your shield comes up, your orders will do extra damage from this rune. Bone Plating is a common rune. Negates incoming damage from 2 to 3 attacks and abilities. Since we're a melee champ in mid lane, this is great to defend against poke. And Overgrowth will help us gain some HP since we aren't focusing that on our build completely. Trust me, I'll explain later why it's okay to go a little squishy, but for now, this is probably the best by default compared to the other two runes. Absolute Focus will do more damage when above 70% health. This is useful for poke, but once you go in deep, you'll more than likely be below 70% health. You'll actually ult in at full HP most times, so that damage is still really useful. Gathering Storm is the most consistent rune so far, guaranteeing AP every 10 minutes, scaling well into late game. Any AP we can stack on the specific build for GALIO, the better. Doran's Ring is by far the best start, essentially giving him everything he needs to start lane. Dark Seal is great for your first back, and you can pick up Refillable Pot and Control Ward if you have enough. Ludens is the first major buy. Now, I know this sounds a little risky since we'll be having to go in deep with GALIO, but you'll have to trust me. I've tried the roll build and for the most part it's okay, but the power spike takes long. There's just this huge power spike with Ludens that feels so right with GALIO. His combo is an all-in playstyle, unleashing all spells within a short range of time. Your autos, Q, E, ult, and Aftershock will one-shot any squishies at this point. The risk is that once you go in, you must be reliable with hitting your spells, but with a bit of practice, you'll understand GALIO's limits and know when it's best to go in. Stalk Boots synergize with the burst and poke playstyle we're going for. Ninja Tabis are an option if all AD enemy team comp. Merc's also viable if plenty of enemy AP champs. Morello's as the second main item. It really is a great item, everything we need, and finally we get some HP coming in. Rabadon's Death Cap is an option here. If you find yourself doing well and want to further snowball, with this item complete, you are in one-shot heaven. Even if you decide to play safer and just go for poke, it will chunk enemies so much they'll think this is rework, release GALIO again. Zhonya's is always going to be viable on GALIO. Going in deep into team fights, and once all your spells are on cooldown, you'll find yourself in a vulnerable position. So Zhonya's active will help keep you safe until your team backs you up and you gain some cooldowns back. Sixth item is situational. Almost anything can work, but I'll assume you're a pro at GALIO and want to continue one-shotting, so go ahead and get Lichbane. The damage from your autos now is disgusting. A good choice to take towers as well. GALIO has some decent potential to split push, especially if you have a teammate nearby to ult towards if you find yourself at risk from a gank. Void Staff, Liandry's options to counter MR and HP later in the game. Now I've put Roa here if you really feel early on that your team needs a tankier champ. You should build Roa first since you want to start scaling ASAP. As for sums, I would recommend most games that you take Ignite for potential to kill your laner and pick up kills in general. This will help you snowball and get the items you need. TP is just as viable against harder matchups, or you expect tough enemy jungle pressure. Generally when people pick GALIO, it's for the team comp. He provides great backup for engage with his ult, allowing for great wombo combos and general team play. He has amazing CC with W, E, and ult. But since I mostly focus on solo queue players, this build can fit into any team comp. You aren't building tanky, so you have damage to carry yourself. Your Q scales insane, so you have AP to poke and wave clear as a melee. You have potential to one-shot squishies with one item. You guys really just have to try this out. Most players just don't expect the damage that AP GALIO has, and it catches people off guard and by surprise. And since he's not completely broken right now, he falls just under that radar. Really had fun playing GALIO, and I'm glad they buffed his Q. Try this out, let me know how it goes, and I'll see you guys in the next video.